Adult Literacy with ALTA. Welcome, Paula Lucie-Smith and Lilian Ramsaroop. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And let us start off with you, please, Paula, for an overview of ALTA. What kind of work you all have been doing since 1992?
Yeah, certainly. We started in 1992, and our real mission is really to bring literacy to adults. So we target the 16-plus age group, who generally before ALTA did not have much provided in way of literacy. It was just assumed that everyone could read because of the statistic that we have that says, 98% literacy. So we really recognized that there were many adults who needed to get literacy instruction, and we set about providing free community-based classes. And we were able to offer those free by training volunteer tutors, so all our tutors are volunteers. And we've offered at 50 locations throughout Trinidad up until the pandemic, of course, where we then were not able to offer the community classes anymore. And we then moved to a virtual delivery. So we can talk a little bit about that further on.
And definitely I want to get into speaking about that virtual delivery and bring you in as well at that point in time, please, Lilian. But even before that, I also want to get into the assumption. And that assumption that, yeah, man, you must be able to read. How easy or what are some of those challenges that you would find the people who avail themselves of ALTA saying, okay, well, this is something that I had problems with that you may not have thought about it or I may not think about?
Yeah. So I think the first thing to recognize is that reading is not easy. For anybody that can do something, it becomes an automatic thing and you think it's easy. But reading is a learned skill. It isn't something you naturally develop. You can hear people reading, you can hear people talking. You hear people talking and babies will learn to talk. But you can't just listen to reading and learn to read. It's a complex skill. And this is one of the things that I think we fail to recognize, that there are different levels of difficulty that people have with reading. And some people are just born with an aptitude for literacy, just as some people are born with an aptitude for music and they're really good at music. It comes fairly easily to them. And then others have great difficulty with it. And then, there's a whole range in between those with great difficulty and those who find it very easy to acquire literacy skills. And I think our school system deals very well with those who have a natural aptitude, but where we have not been as successful is in meeting the needs of those who do not have that natural aptitude and need some more specialized instruction. And those would be many of the students that we see as adults who were not able to get their needs met during their school career, because by and large, our students have been to school. Trinidad has had free access to primary school for many decades. And it means that we haven't been able to meet those needs. And rather than just have persons forgotten, we want to make sure that at any point in your life, doesn't matter your age, right? We have students that come in at 70 years old and they want to read this Bible before they meet their maker, So it doesn't matter the age. ALTA classes are there to meet your needs. So if it didn't happen before, there's always the opportunity now,
And Gil Scott Heron says, no matter how far you go, you can always turn around. You can always make that step once we have life, once we have breath. And Lilian, let me pull you into the conversation, please. Regional coordinator, what are some of the most striking ways that your job title or the work that you do with ALTA has changed during the pandemic?
Well, first I had to learn to use Zoom. Right? It has changed because now I have to visit classes virtually. Right? I was also involved in changing our lessons to suit the virtual realm. Also, I taught virtual classes at It was a challenge at first because the students, many of them had to learn to use the Zoom, the technology, besides learning literacy skills, right? And well, simultaneously with learning literacy skills.
And one of the things I can imagine is that, and I'm very glad you raised that point, Lilian, in terms of, yes, you're learning to read, but you're also learning the technology. And how significant was that challenge, and how would ALTA have dealt with it at that point in time? And I can throw it back to you, Paula or Lilian, if you want to answer.
So, a lot of tutors walked their students through downloading the Zoom app on their device. Some others, their children already had the Zoom app on their devices. For example, I had a student who was intimidated about going virtual, right, and using Zoom and these things. But that student's child already had Zoom, so the child would sit in with the parent to do our sessions, which is logging in for the parent, putting on the video, the audio, share screen, all the features of Zoom that we would use. But on one occasion, about the fourth session, the child was unable to be at home at the time we had the session. And the student had to log in and did it. Log in, put on the video, the audio, all of these things. And ever so often, the student would tell me, Miss, I am so surprised that I am able to do it. And after that, the child's assistant wasn't needed again.
And that reminds me of a line from Dixie and Joseph, a Shakila song. She said, you would never know you could make it if you didn't struggle alone. You would never know you were lost if you didn't find your way home. So give thanks. But Paula, you've been very busy over the pandemic, and in terms of making that change, making that move to the virtual realm, what are some of those things that you would have been involved in? Take me through that process a little bit, please.
Yeah, certainly when we first started, we did a lot of WhatsApp, communicating with students through WhatsApp, sending voice messages and various videos so that they would know how to communicate and how to access this virtual world. And that worked well because many students were accustomed to using WhatsApp. So it was like a step towards getting to the Zoom. What we had to do was redesign our lessons. So we use free Zoom, right? So our lessons had to be divided into 3 40-minute segments to make up the 2 hours that we normally have. So we redesigned the lesson so it would fit into those 3 sections of time. And what we do is at first we didn't realize Zoom had breakout rooms, and then we discovered these breakout rooms. And that has opened possibilities that you don't even have in the classroom, where ALTA V, the virtual, allows a tutor to just have a one-on-one or a 1-to-2 conversation with students without anybody else hearing. So, when we go in to edit students' writing, we can go one-on-one with them. Whereas in the classroom, you're sitting next to the student and, well, people are hearing what you're saying. So it actually offers you a whole different level of privacy and interaction with students and building the relationships that you don't have in the classroom where, everybody is present and hearing and kind of milling around. So that was a feature that actually gave us a tool that we could use to enhance learning and build the relationship between tutors and students that is not available in the classroom. So you tend to think, well, the V version will be less good than the face-to-face. But they each have their advantages and disadvantages. So many students say to us, what? I could just sit down here in my home. I could reach home, and I could then go to class. I don't have to go to class and then get into more transport and reach home late, and then look for something to eat. I could sit down and the comfort of my home, So there are real pluses. We have students that say, they're not going back to community class. They like this V thing, right? Others, they miss the personal touch, the little, interactions that you would have when people are together.
And speaking about that interaction when people are together, it's not a breakout room, but we're taking a short break and we return speaking with ALTA. Stay with us.
The best for your baby at the best price is at dbesttoys.com. We have everything you need right here.
We have car seats, potties, high chairs, jumpers, carriers, strollers, and we even have travel systems.
We have rockers, walkers, cribs, playpens, animal blankets, sensory toys, rattles, bottles, bath toys, bathtubs, clothes, and much more. We have the best brands, the best prices for your baby at dbesttoys.com.
Gerber, Dr. Brown, Mattel, Leapfrog, Disney Baby, VTech Baby, Carter's, Avent,
Graco, Chico, Infantino, Fisher-Price, Twist Shake, and much more.
Now available in-store at Forces Flagship McBean or shop online at dbesttoys.com. Call or WhatsApp 332-BABY. That's 332-2229. Nationwide delivery available. Cash or links on delivery.
Generations, hard work and good advice have been essential. So when hard work gives me tough pain, I rely on Panadol Ultra that relieves fast 5 types of tough pain. Take good advice. Take Panadol Ultra. Find your trusted Panadol Extra Strength with a new look and new tablet.
My name is Stefan Dabo. ALTA gives me the environment to learn and try harder with the teachers that gives me confidence, so I'm not afraid of making a mistake, which helps me to learn and grow. I am ALTA.
ALTA V, bringing literacy directly to you. Sign up now. Call 708-1990.
And I want to thank Stefan for being able to share his experience, because it's one thing, okay, well, you're learning and you're building your confidence, but like he said, the ability to be able to make a mistake and say, well, that's part of it, and go forward. We are speaking with Paula Lucie-Smith and Lilian Ramsaroop of ALTA. I don't know if I should say ALTA V this round, but we're doing so within the context of an International or World Literacy Day. Thank you so much for staying with us, ladies. How do you feel, Lilian, when you see Stefan being able to proclaim and share his experience like that?
Extremely proud of Stefan, his achievements. Yeah, extremely proud.
And one of the things that I wanted to ask, though, is being able to drop in on different classes. So, okay, a class, so Paul already spoke of it, saying that some people love the fact that you don't have to get out of your work clothes, bathe, possibly get into another mode of transport, then go to class, then come back, and so you're doing it from the comfort of your home. Being able to drop in on different classes, what has that been like? Because I also want to know what is the experience of teachers, because it's one thing to say, okay, well, you have your tools, your resources, your lessons plans. I just heard that you would have had to shift those lessons plan a little bit, but feedback from the teachers as well. What has that been like, Lilian?
So the thing about it is, our tutors were trained. Last year, August, we had a virtual training. Hence the reason the program is called the ALTA V program, because we had called that training the ALTA V training. And our teachers were prepared to teach this last academic year. Because of all of the aspects of ALTA that they had learned, all of our routines and our methods and approaches and so all of our ALTA V tutors really had a great experience, and they all want to continue teaching ALTA V.
And Paula, give me some contact information for ALTA, please. And I also say that in the context of the fact that after there's been a week for parents to settle in with their children, make sure that they're going to school online, then adult literacy starts, because I believe you start your classes on the 13th of September?
Yeah, That's right. Yeah.
So how do people contact you to be a part of that class?
Yeah. So the best way to communicate with us is really with our phone number, which is 708-1990, a memorable date in Trinidad, 708-1990. Or if you want to email something on behalf of someone else, you can email to alta@alta-tt.org. So we have those two ways that you can reach us, namely on that 708-1990 telephone number. And you can also WhatsApp to that number. And it's a very simple process. Once you call or message, we just get your personal information, your contact, your name, and then we want to know what device you have. So obviously these are virtual classes using Zoom, so you must have either a smartphone, a tablet, or a computer. And you must have it web-enabled. You must have internet access and fairly good internet access, because you don't want to be finding that you are dropping out of class all the time, and having to come back in. So you want to make sure you have what is required for you to be able to easily and comfortably do your class. So you make sure you have those, and we will ask you what devices you have. And after that, once you call, you're registered, and then a tutor will call you and really just go through some steps with you as to what reading and writing you already do. And then we will know how to place you, where's the best way for you to start in the ALTA program. Because we have different levels, and obviously you don't want to start in a level where it's too difficult for you or too easy. So we need to find out what you know first. And we'll do that usually through a Zoom session as well. We also have an ALTA online product, which is a piece of software that we use, and we may put you on that and the assessment book on that if you have a computer. And that is something that persons can ask about more information. But that one is not a free program, because obviously developing software is an expensive enterprise, as I have heard, right? So we do have that ALTA online, but that is something, we are calling for sponsors for, where we can get this ALTA online product out to particularly school children that maybe have fallen more behind now because of the lack of face-to-face instruction. So we do look at that whole theme for International Literacy Year, which is talking about the digital divide. The digital divide really is, in a way, just a camouflage or a mask for what is really the literacy divide. Because most of the persons who are not digitally competent or on the internet and able to access those services, literacy is often the reason why they are not able to access those the digital world, is because you need literacy in order to access that. So we are able to get our students into the Zoom environment by walking them through it, as Lilian said. And Zoom is a very intuitive, almost a very easy. So we really have chosen Zoom, as you have, right? Which really is it's an easy program to work. And what's fascinating about ALTA V is, as Lilian pointed out, you are getting literate and you are also bridging the digital divide all in one class, right? So it does both things. So I think we with ALTA V really are meeting this theme of International Literacy Day, which is about bridging that digital divide.
And bridge that gap with me, bridge that divide with me, please, Lilian. So I understand that the app, definitely you pay for that because work went into developing it. But if I want to join a class, how is that class structured? So you decide the level that I'm going to be in. Is it that classes are spread out over the week, or we can decide what is mutually beneficial? How does that take place, Lilian?
So classes are twice a week, right? So our students have the option to choose a morning class, which could be Monday and Wednesday morning, or Tuesday and Thursday morning. Same thing for the afternoon. If a student chooses an afternoon class, it will be either Monday and Wednesday afternoon. When I say afternoon, like 5:30 to 7:30 or 6 to 8, or Tuesday, Thursday class, same times, right? I want to say something, Dike. With this ALTA V program, we have been able to reach students that we couldn't reach before, right? And these are adults with smartphones, tablets, computers, and internet or Wi-Fi. And more so, we were able, this ALTA V program made it available for students in Tobago to access the ALTA program.
And that is really something to be to appreciate.
And now we can.
And but with that, we have about a minute more. Paula, leave it in your hands, please, because yes, this labor of love needs to be funded by something. So if someone wants to lend resources to you, what are you looking for? How do they engage you? Yes, we know the number 708-1990, but what else are you looking for? How can people help?
There was certainly sponsorship. Sponsorship, because obviously even offering the ALTA V classes, we are offering that free. But there are costs. We do training, we have administration that has to go with that. So, you know, we are looking for sponsors for our ALTA V classes and then also sponsors for ALTA Online. And let me just end by saying that just a shout out to those persons out there who are undecided at this point, you know. They're like, I don't really think I'm ready for joining an ALTA V class. You know, do I really need to go and improve my reading and writing? I kind of getting by. You know, what I could say is from my experience as a tutor over many years, that what I hear students say repeatedly to me is, you know, they're in there like a week, 2 weeks, and they say, but why I didn't come? Why all these years I'm putting this off? And this thing is really what I needed. And I just wish I had done it sooner. It's because I missed so many opportunities. And they say that all the time. I wish I had done this sooner. Look at me now, I'm 40 years old, I'm 50 years old. And had I come when I was 20, when I was 30, you know, what I could have done if I could then read, spell, write, you know, all those missed opportunities. So what I'm going to say is, you know, really just seize the moment now. You know, call us. Get into ALTA V. No, don't wait.
All right. Thank you so much, Paula. Thank you so much, Lilian. And thank you on behalf of the entire news team. This has been In-Depth. And once again, thank you so much for joining.
The winning numbers in the National Lottery online draws for Wednesday, 8th September 2021. At 10:30 a.m.